Have you ever felt like a fraud or a fake at work? Have you ever felt that if people realized how much you don't know, their opinion of you would change? Have you felt like an imposter at times? Well, the imposter syndrome is a condition where people who are basically competent and successful have excessive fears that they are not competent, and they cannot account for their successes by competency. Okay, so who are we talking about? I mean, who suffers from the imposter syndrome? Well, in the 1980s, we used to think that only men suffered from it, but we've come to learn that the majority of people who suffer are women, and especially women of color. So what kind of symptoms do these people have? Well, they have anxiety, and the anxiety is usually about not wanting to fail, fear of failure. They have fears of their inability to deliver on tasks that they've been given. They fear taking any kind of risk, and they usually are not. They have a sense of self that is not very confident. So you could say, well, maybe some of that is normal, because all of us have gone through that at some point. And it's true. If you have just been promoted and you're worried about will you be able to succeed at this higher level, or you've taken on a brand new job, or you've switched careers, of course, all of those things are normal. But when we talk about a syndrome, we're talking about something that happens fairly regularly. And so should we be concerned about it? Definitely. Because if we have these fears often, and they manifest themselves in our workplace, then what ends up happening is that the image that people have of you might not be the right image. Most people with imposter syndromes have a tendency to stay in the background. They don't volunteer for assignments. They are not the first ones to apply for a higher level position. They don't have, they are not perceived as leaders. And so what can end up happening is that they miss out on opportunities. They might be very competent and might do very well at that, job X that everybody wants, but they don't see themselves as being, likely candidate for it, so they often don't apply. So what ends up happening, that glass ceiling that women fight against, if, on a regular basis, we're still doing that now, if you have imposter syndrome, that glass ceiling is really low. And you can end up remaining in a position, that maybe you're comfortable in, but it doesn't, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you live up to your potential. And so for us as women executives, it's very important that we do something about the imposter syndrome. How can it be fixed? Definitely. If it's light or mild to moderate, then basically coaching works quite well, and as does training. If it's severe, then it's really more a case for therapy. But the point is that if you are a woman executive who has plans for the future, big plans for the future, and you do suffer from imposter syndrome, something needs to happen to take care of it so that you can have the opportunities that you deserve. I hope this was of value to you. We will be having, our next video is going to be on how to find out if you really have imposter syndrome by asking 3 simple questions. I hope you'll join us for that. Thank you very much.